Good morning, everybody. For the next 6 weeks, we have the great privilege of having Swami Satyamayananda from the Vedanta Society of Southern California in residence. Swami Satyamayananda joined the order at Advaita Ashrama, Kolkata in 1988, an initiated disciple of Swami Bhuteshananda, the 12th president of the order. He served in various capacities at Advaita Ashrama. In 2008, he joined the Probationers Training Centre Belur Math as an Acharya or teacher. In 2010, he was posted to Advaita Ashrama Mayavati to be the editor of Prabuddha Bharata, or Awakened India, an English language magazine of the Ramakrishna Order, started by Vivekananda in 1896. He was appointed as the secretary of Ramakrishna Mission Ashrama, Kanpur, in 2014. He joined the Vedanta Society of Southern California as assistant minister in December 2018. He is going to be giving the Sunday lectures and also the Tuesday evening class on the Gospel, as well as the Friday class on the Gita. And included in those classes will be some meditation, some guided meditation. So his subject today is the nature of nature. Swami, we're very happy to have you here.
Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. My salutations to Bhagavan Ramakrishna. Thank you, Diane, for the elaborate introduction. And thank you for the wonderful song, one of my favorite songs. Sakali Tumari Icha. And yes, I've been for a couple of days here in New York and I'm loving every moment of it. Like Diane says, I was requested by Sarvadevanandji and Sarvapriyananda to kind of come over here to New York. My first trip to the East Coast, and hopefully it won't be the last. Like it was announced, the nature of nature. Well, nature of nature. It's kind of very vast subject. I'll give you some of the salient points and how Vedanta philosophy looks at this thing called nature. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, we have the son approaching the father. Bhrigu is the son, he approaches Varuna, his father, to ask him, what is reality? And there's a long discourse. Doesn't get it for free. He has to work for it. One of the sentences is, Yato va imani bhutani jayante ye na jata nijivanti yam prayantya visham visanti tad vijiknyasasva tad brahmeti. Seek to know well that which all these beings take birth, that by which they live after being born, that which they move and into which they merge, that is Brahman. The deliberation was, what is this reality? Reality is called Brahman, absolute reality. So it's a kind of a natural tendency in the human mind to seek our own origins. Now we have a kind of a geneticists would kind of draw your own genealogy chart and tell you from where you've come. But if you want to look at the whole of creation, you are going to find your own roots as well as the roots of this universe. So, this life here, which is manifested on the earth, it's so beautiful. There's nothing so beautiful as life. Even the dust mote, a drop of water, a leaf floating down, the rain clouds and snow, everything. I don't know why people build temples. Can't they just see this beauty? Everything, from the smallest, you can see amoeba, to the blue whale. Life has manifested its greatest, you can say, strength, and brought out this whole spectrum of creation in front of us. It's really, really beautiful. Everything. Even that ugly bug. You look at it closely and you'll find it beautiful. There's no doubt. Life teems even in a drop of water. This whole earth, it's found in the atmospheres and depths of the seas, in frigid conditions, everywhere. Life has kind of held on to this earth and it's manifesting. And it guaranteed its survival by a very simple method, by diversifying it. That is how you survive. A couple of days ago, there was an interreligious movement, kind of dialogue. And I thought, yes, you see, Hinduism has got, they were grumbling about, there are so many sects and doctrines and you can say traditions. We get bewildered. Yeah, I said, even a Hindu gets bewildered. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But that is how you protect yourself. You keep on This is the law of evolution. Then I said, you see, Christianity has more than 30,000 sects in the US. What? It is the work of life. It will not clump together for long. It will disperse. And both the clumping and the dispersal is so beautiful. Everything, the butterfly and the bees and the flowers and the colors and the smells and the sights and the sounds. Oh, it's really good. Look down a little deep inside and you see life is full of pain and misery and evil. There are these genocides and holocausts and rapes and murders and corruption and deception. Why? Well, this is also a fact. And we've been inventing heavens and higher heavens and seventh heavens and whatever, trying to deceive ourselves that we will have a kind of an eternal life minus all this evil here. It's not possible. And we've invented all sorts of kinds of doctrines. And we have told people to believe them. And people have believed them and killed for it. These days, everything is ideology. You have an ideology behind you, and you can be a saint or you can be a, well, you know what you can be. Yes, it's terrible. Life, the constant prey and predator are locked in a survival game. No one is free. And we see this life subject to corruption, then degeneration. Well, you take the beautiful side, you've got to take this side also. Saying we will just take the good side, nothing doing. You've got to take both sides. You will see later how the Vedanta overcomes this duality and shows you something higher. So, this earth has been designed for life, and life has designed this earth. It never started off something like this. No. A hot ball of rock. It is life that transformed it into something blue and beautiful. Yes. It has taken more than 4 billion years. And that is what is life. It's slowly uncoiling itself. The struggles are inevitable in these processes. So, life is beautiful. Yeah, life is also evil. We can see how degenerate a person can be. To all appearances, a person is so nice. That person knows exactly what hurts him, what is pain. And given a chance, that person can give that same thing, treat that another person with that same, you can say, standard. So, death stalks life. The Buddhists use a illustration of a lamp is constantly burning, and that is its life. The oil is constantly burning. You see the light of the lamp, and oh yeah, but you don't see the oil being diminished. Life is like that. Everywhere. Death is in each and every cell of the body. It's a friend of life. Death, wow. Death has been demonized by us. Especially we who kind of have to have some nice, you can say, life. Death is a kind of an enemy. No. Death is integral in life. And you've got to understand it. The core experience of death is painless. In fact, it's a great release. Yeah. What would have happened if there was no death? Imagine. We would have been with our same stupidities for all eternity. It would have been a crazy place. So this is the dynamic nature of life. There is life and there is death, which is not separate. It's there. It's beautiful and it's evil, as you say, as we say. Of course, Vedanta dismisses something called evil. We'll get down to this later. There is no evil. Okay. Another fact that we need to point out, because since we are talking about nature, nobody really has understood about life, And it has kind of given us a kind of existence in a bubble. This is my life. You cannot have your life separate from others. All life is interconnected. Every life is interconnected. The worm under my feet could be balancing me. I do not know. Something going on the other side of the planet is affecting me. Everything is connected. This is the web of life, as Nivedita, says in one of her books. The web of life. It has to. We need to be interconnected, and thank God for modern science. We are seeing all these connections over and over again. It's a tremendous fact. Everything. That's the reason why we cannot despise any life or anyone for that matter. It's a huge web. It's either Upanishads, also in the Bhagavad Gita, they speak about Urdhvamula Adashaka, a eternal tree with its roots up and branches below. Every life has sprung from one source. The whole history of your evolution, you've retained it in your genes. The whole history. Yes. And not only that, every living being has retained its history, retained its memory. Everything has sprung up from one. The tree may look different, the chicken may look different, and the fish may look different, I may look different. But no, we have the same DNA. The same DNA has structured this whole variety of life. And it has got us into a kind of a web. Everything. So all life is interconnected. That is a lesson we need to understand. You know, in Indian mythology, there is a heaven. You know, Indra is the king of the gods, in the Vedic pantheon. He's the king of the gods. He's a kind of a great guy. Sometimes he gets angry and comes and hits people with his thunderbolt, like that old Zeus. We had Indra. So in his heaven, apart from the damsels dancing, kind of, people want to go there. What do you do there? Watch people dancing. Crazy. If you watch somebody dance for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, you think enough. And still people want to go there. Like, because in the Kathopanishad, the boy Nachiketa, he asks, Ashanaya pipasa shokatigo modate svargaloki. There is no eating and drinking. All our lives are dependent on eating and drinking and sleeping. There is nothing like that there. There is no disease. What are you going to do the whole time? Think about it. So in this heaven of Indra, apart from you have the you can say display windows. These are kind of behind. There's a web, a huge kind of like a fish net rather. At the corner of every knot there is a jewel hanging down. So if you see this net stretching to an infinity, and there are these small jewels hanging. How vast is this net? It's vast, vast, vast. If you go to one jewel and see inside, you will see the whole net reflected in that. That's why it's called Indrajal, the magic of Indra. You will see the whole of that net with all those jewels hanging in that one small jewel. There. And if you see the reflection of that one jewel in that infinite net, the one reflection of that jewel, you will see another net there. The reflected net, reflection of the reflected. So it's a world within the world. This nature is like this. There are worlds within worlds. We can't grasp it. If you could, it would have been wonderful. What I'm trying to drive, Swami Vivekananda at one time, he's telling his brother disciple, Swami Akhandananda, Gangadhar, one of the greatest problems of my life have been solved here. What a greater problem he had. He said, I have seen the universe vibrating in an atom. The microcosm and the macrocosm are one. You study the microcosm, you will understand the macrocosm. This is that realization, and this is the truth. You can study life, you can study infinity by studying your own life. Do you know how life manifests within you? I'm alive, I don't care. You've missed out the miracle of life. It's amazing. How can this life here in an individual reflect cosmic life? But it is true. This, as we know, as Indians say, this is Maya. It's tremendous, you can say. So, like I said, it's a wheel within a wheel. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Evam pravartitam chakram nanu vartayati haya. Agayur indriya rama moham patasiji. This wheel of the world, it's called the wheel of creation. We are all embedded in this wheel, whether we like it or not. The second line of the verse says, those who live selfishly, they eat sin, as they say. You are supposed to be unselfish. Life is supposed to be unselfish. If it is not, it's no life at all. Swami Vivekananda says, they only live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. If life starts expanding, then you can understand its secrets. Then you can understand its glory. Even if you die, it doesn't matter. What does it matter? Life continues. In other bodies, you've been identified with this small, corruptible, ever-changing body. You look at yourself, that's me. That's not you. It's just your autobiographical memory. Oh, that's me, that's me. See your old photographs? That's me. Your whole body has changed a couple of times since you were born. Why do you identify yourself with that? It's just your memory. Yeah. And Swami Vivekananda says, I would not have the least regard for human beings if they can live on memories. You must have a vision. And that is what? What is a vision? This is a cosmic life, and here we have to be unselfish. Saying, with clenched hands we come to grab, and nature puts a hand on your throat and makes you open your hands. You are forced to become unselfish. So why should you be railroaded into it? Become unselfish. Yeah. You have less trouble. Oh, the unselfish people, no, they suffer a lot. Really? It is selfishness that makes you suffer. I would say it like that. Come out of your shell and see how this cosmic life is manifest. You will never be the same again. You will never walk those same old streets like your old self. You will, and people want to walk on water. It's a miracle. Yeah. Every step you take will be a kind of a miracle. So this is life in its display. It's a tremendous, you can say, responsibility also given to each one of us, that we can keep on enhancing and enhancing life. You see why? Because life seeks life. You must understand. Life will never seek a dead body. We either cremate it or bury it quickly. And evolution has designed us in such a way that that dead body will give off such odors, it's malodorous, to stay away from it. We always seek life. In Hollywood, I have somebody who is a great fan of, alien life, search for extraterrestrial life and this and that. And he's been trying to, for the last few months, trying to convert me into the idea. It's great. I told him the principle. It is because you are alive, you are seeking for life outside, which is natural. But in case you find life outside, the perception about yourself and life here will change. I'm not talking about cinematic life, kind of. It's kind of silly. It doesn't follow any kind of scientific protocols. But in case we do find life outside, our special status goes down there. And in case we do not find life outside, what a tremendous responsibility, what a gift has been given to us. In this vast universe, this is the only place that harbors life. Yes. Can you see the implications? It should change the human race. Well, they are saying, we are searching for not just life. We are searching for intelligent life. The other day I was reading something maybe, you see, human species are kind of intelligent. And we are bent on destroying ourselves and the world. If there is intelligent life, they must have destroyed themselves. Yeah. So we might be destroying ourselves. You won't find any intelligent life out there. So let's have it here. Let's work what we have right now. It's much better there. So this is this is life seeking life. And wherever there is life, there has to be something called love. You cannot have the two things separate. The life and the love. Oh, you are the life of my life, I love you. Yeah. And after 2 days, I don't want to see your face. Then it wasn't love. Life will love. And love is always accompanied with bliss. This is kind of the equation which can never be broken. Life, wherever there's life, there will be love. And wherever there's love, there will be bliss. With all this kind of gruesome, you can say, details about life, yes, we will understand life at its kind of core, how it is emerging out and how it is diversifying. You don't even need to worship a kind of a god. This is what it is. In fact, some of our Indian philosophies do not have the concept of God. Why should you have God? With a long white beard and long flowing robes and God? They dismiss it out. We don't want this kind of God. Yes, there are many philosophies that don't have any God. The Buddhists, they dismissed it long ago, in the very beginning. Yeah. And the Jains saying, we don't want any God. You get free from all this kind of beliefs. We are just saddled with beliefs which may not be true at all. So, here is something which is divine. If you can't worship this, you will not be able to worship any other kind of God. So here we are, this universe, and nature has been kind of evolving for these billions and billions of years. And the most superfine structure that it can build is your brain. Yeah, the whale has a bigger brain than us, of course. There are many creatures with bigger brains. But the connections here, my God, it exceeds all the stars and galaxies in the universe, all the neuronal connections. It is actually inside, it is dark. Do you know, in your brain? You think there's a light inside? In the cartoons you might get, the bulb going up. No. It is dark inside. It is wet inside. The matter is squishy, 3 pound. Yeah. And there's the occasional kind of neurons firing. But this is the best, you can say, material that nature has evolved for billions and billions. Why? It can make us self-aware. We are the only, apart from a few of the dolphins, there, it's real actually. and chimps and in humans, self-consciousness is fully unfurled. It makes you unique. There is no species that is self-conscious. Well, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of physiology. Like in Indian psychology, you'll say it's a human chitta. That's the part of the inner instrument called the antakara. Inner instrument that kind of reflects consciousness. It's like you have a mirror and you can recognize yourself. So consciousness flashes, and with that flash it can recognize itself. I am ignorant. Yeah. So many people say, oh, this morality and religion, understand? What is right, what is wrong? You know exactly what is right and what is wrong, what is true and what is false. You know exactly. Don't run about asking questions and getting more confused. You know exactly. Everyone knows what they are because of that self-consciousness. Learn to seek that. So this whole creation, the ocean of creation, and it's not kind of special status, but our self-consciousness has made us kind of different. We are now studying this nature, universe. And the universe is becoming self-aware through you, through all of us. The universe is becoming self-aware. There's a book called A Self-Aware Universe by Amit Goswami. The universe is becoming self-aware. Somebody asks you, how old are you? So I said once, 13.7 billion years old. What? You are the age of the universe. You had any doubt about it? Yeah, you had. I had doubt. The very materials that are in us have been cooked in these supernovas that went bust and seeded the universe. All the materials that you have in your body has come from the stars. Yes. So your body is as old as this universe. There is no doubt about it. So don't think, I was my birthday year. Why? No, it's not. You are the universe and you are self-aware of it. Otherwise, you will never be able to build all these huge instruments. Impossible. We want to know. And how do we know? Well, some days ago, in Hollywood, there is one worship called the Kali Puja. We have a kind of a image. The image was kind of not very beautiful looking, kind of. They said, God, why? You could have done something better than this. But it's symbolic. As you approach Kali, you are actually approaching your own heart of darkness. There's a novel on that, The Heart of Darkness, but that I'm not referring to this. But you approach your own self through the symbology of Kali. You approach your own self-consciousness. And as you keep on going deeper and deeper and deeper, dimensions within you are revealed. So that's why he's saying, oh, Kali, you see, she's a mother. Yes, of course. She is those various forces and dimensions within each one of us. We have not encountered those dimensions. We are so externalized. We don't want to look inside. We need to now and then get a little contemplative. So much for self-awareness. There are people, especially religious people, God has created this universe. So, one time, a religious preacher came. See, so beautiful, God has created this universe. I said, no. God is universe? Then who has created it? I said, take for example these flowers and fruits. You think God has created it? We have done it. The human intervention. We have been fiddling around with these genes. Yes, for thousands of years. This rice and the wheat and the horses and the dogs and the cats. We have been designing beings. Yes. There's no doubt about it. Who God created a banana? You go and say, God created a banana? Who said God created? The human beings that are kind of busy with all these things. Almost everything has seen the hand of a human in designing nature, redesigning nature. She has given us these raw materials and we have been tinkering with this. Otherwise, do you think we will be able to sustain such a huge population? How do we feed all these people? We have been busy. Yeah. For the last 10,000 years, we've been extra busy. And now, with genetics opening up newer vistas of this DNA, we have been now. There are some Chinese scientists saying, we are able to clone a human being. There we are. So long, evolution was dragging us down the paths. Today, not today in the sense, maybe 150,000, which is a blink in cosmic time. We are participants with nature. That proves a tremendous, you can say, strength in us. We are participants with nature. You have a disease, we are searching for cures to cure that disease. Yes. And it has engaged us. Sometimes we wonder, who's stronger? Who? Nature or me? Yeah. So this is the new, you can say, nature. So I think I've laid down the scheme, the nature of nature. And I haven't yet come to reincarnation. I think I'll skip that for the time being. It really doesn't matter. So what do we see displayed here? Like I said, we see displayed life, love, bliss, and all the other things also which I mentioned. The struggle, the death, and the diseases, all these things, they are part of it. You must be sporting, you must be able to learn to. Swami Trigunatita, who was for many years in San Francisco, the surgeon wanted to kind of do a small operation. Okay, fine. Yeah, you do it. I want to see what actually happens. He withdrew his mind from there, and the surgeon did the surgery. Well, okay. We can do all these things. There are hundreds of examples, let's suggest. So, this is what we see displayed here in this life, this nature. So, according to the Vedantic philosophers, this whole, you can say, evolution has begun from something called space. Yeah, what's space? Yeah, it's like, 95% of nature, of space, is called dark matter or dark energy. What we see today is just 5 or 6%. And we make such a big thing out of it. There's nothing. Like this whole ocean, and there are waves, and above the waves there are these crests with the foam. Visible matter is something like this. Yes. Don't be fooled with all this kind of. There is something more. And we see that most of this universe is outside our knowledge and view. It's like a tip of the iceberg, You know there has to be a mountain of ice below that tip. The universe we see is something like this. So they say the first materials is called space. It's a field of potential, of possibility. So this is space, Akash, they say. And how does it bring out this variety? There's something called prana. Akash and prana, the universal life force and the universal materials joined together. This much is known to science also. What is force is matter, what is matter is force. This equation has been, Einstein did it. So what matter you see is nothing but a foaming ocean of energy. They stop here. The Vedantic philosophers went a little further. So where has these guys come from? They said Akash and Prana, space and universal life, have come out from something higher. What's that? It's called a universal mind. It's called Mahat. It is the universal mind that splits into these two combinations. And the constant play and replay of all these forces has displayed this life. So the difficulty in understanding Indian philosophy or metaphysics is this. In the West, they say, matter gives rise to the mind. The neurons firing, all these things. And which is much later displayed. Really, you will see life and intelligence even in a plant. You will see the kind of a sunflower veering itself towards the sun. In the Indian system, it is the mind that has given rise to matter, which is a nice thing. So Brahma, the first creator God, kind of a mythological. He meditated and then he said, Om. So spontaneously this universe arose from his mind. So, mind first, then matter. And you're saying, yeah, this is contradictory. The inside-out view. Swami Vivekananda says, on the final analysis, in nature there is no such thing as internal and external. So you start your inquiry from either position, you will meet there. You have to meet. We are more mental than physical. It's only when my back hurts or I'm feeling hungry, then I kind of... Our life is actually in the mind. So the universal mind splits. And it splits in the sense it congeals. So you find mind everywhere. In the insect, in the amoeba, in the bacteria, everywhere you'll find mind. They may not have the same nervous system like us, but they have a mind there. You take a biological cell from you, put it in a petri dish, and try to kill it. It will try to escape. Yeah. There is something that has made all these stupid, I don't know how much, 16, 30, 40 trillion cells in our body to work in a concerted way. Every cell is different. But something kind of puts them in a line. This is the how. There is, of course, I might have to stray, but doesn't matter. So let's stick to the nature and... So here, now the Buddhist, the old Buddhist, why do you want to bring anything any more here? This explains everything. So they give an example. You take a lighted torch, and they whirl it round, a firebrand. They whirl the firebrand round. Saying, you see that circle there? Saying, yeah. Is it real or it's an illusion? It's an illusion, of course. But you see it? Yes. Matter is something like this. Everything is what is called a mind. Consciousness kind of flickering constantly. So matter is, there's no matter, doesn't matter. They also dispense with the soul. What do you want the soul for? The mind explains everything. The other day, during this dialogues with a Buddhist kind of monk, friend, he had been asked to speak about Buddhism. And he was kind of hesitatingly trying to give the basic principles. So I said, Bhante, tell them that you've not only dispensed with God, you've dispensed with the world, you've dispensed with the soul, and not only that, you've dispensed with the mind also. Tell them. So you're laughing. No, it'll frighten them. Yeah, these Shunyavadins, these nihilists, everything is there. But there's something in us that speaks about our existence, our being. What do we take? Soul as an illusion? Or soul as real? My nature somehow says, no, soul is not an illusion. How do we know? Yes. See, Indian religions never began with the question of what is God doing? What he did on the first day, the second day, and third day, and fourth day. He's not interested. So, I was reading one time in one of our monasteries at Trabuco, Ignatius, Saint Ignatius, and then saying, God did this on the first day, the second day. Closed the book. I said, I'm not interested. You know what? They search for something which is tangible, which they know. The search went here, not outside. And that's why in the Upanishad and the Vedas, you get multiple doctrines of creation. Somebody asked me, can't you settle on one? I said, why should? The more the merrier. Why are you satisfied with one life? Have multiple lives. Why are you so frightened like a chicken? Why do you want to have one God? Have multiple gods. Nature is showing its multiplicity. So they searched here in this human body and this human mind for something that is imperishable. And they discovered it in consciousness, which they call the Atman. I'm not using the word spirit, soul. It kind of, it's kind of muddied. Have multiple meanings, and so they found something within us that is deathless and birthless. Well, they're saying, if this is there true in this place, then it has to be true in other places also. Yes. So are there one or many souls? Again, I erroneously used the word souls. One existence. There is only one existence that appears as the many. I won't go into details because it will be a kind of a, but I'll say, is all this kind of speculation, kind of philosophical, kind of? No, Swami Vivekananda says this philosophy was practical first and then philosophical next. They structured their realizations into a philosophy. But I want to point out one thing, that this universe, which is considered dead and insentient, it isn't. That has been a mistake, and we have been exploiting it. The Vedantic view is, it is living. Okay, even this, if we can take it as speculation, but there are experiences. I'll relate two experiences to you, which is found in Ramakrishna Vivekananda literature. One time Swami Vivekananda, he comes to Sri Ramakrishna and says, he describes a vision to him. And he's saying, I've seen a luminous, silver-colored triangle from where millions and millions of universes are being born. Sri Ramakrishna beamed, kind of. Even I have seen that. He kind of authenticates Swami Vivekananda's vision. That is the Brahma Yoni. That is the womb of Brahman. We are talking about this one universe, say kind of 13.7 or whatever billion years, or even more. There are some galaxies they're found even older. But why should you stick to one galaxy? Like we have multiple gods and multiple lives and multiple. Let's have multiple universes. Why not? Can there be 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, or million other galaxies or universes than ours? It's all possible. Why should you limit yourself? Yeah, sometimes it's frightening to even conceptualize that there can be hundreds of other universes. If something like this has come out once, nature works under laws, and the laws can be repeated over and over again. So, here to Swami Vivekananda, he saw the very origins, the source from where galaxies are coming out. A little, to make it a little more personal. You see Holy Mother here? Kind of nice and sweet, no? Yeah. This is one person whom I don't like to speak about. I get frightened. One time a devotee, she was sitting beside the Holy Mother and meditating. Not devotee, her disciple. I forget her name. She was sitting and meditating beside Holy Mother was sitting beside her. And they were both meditating. And suddenly she got frightened. She saw a vision. Mother, she's sitting there. She's stark naked. And she's giving birth to millions and millions of stars and planets and the universe. She opened eyes and she looks at Mother peacefully meditating. And she couldn't contain her excitement. She said, Mother, this is what I seen. I seen you like this. Mother smiles. Oh, by the Master's grace, you have had the vision of Prakriti, that is nature. Mother is that nature. We think, and for so long we are thinking, that nature is dull and insentient. No, it isn't. I had a breakfast. I think all of us have had breakfast, no? You call that dull and insentient matter? You have integrated that dull and insentient matter into your life. You are one with that. There is nothing called dull and insentient and stupid. Life can transform it. So this nature is living, it's loving, it's blissful. And that huge nature has come in this age as this Holy Mother. Yes, how is it possible? Yeah. Nature in Indian philosophy also means Maya. She is that great Maya. She also kind of veils that knowledge. Ajnanena vritam jnanam. Knowledge that our self-consciousness, all our brilliance, everything is kind of veil. We'll never be able to rip that. We can do it by praying to Holy Mother. She will lift that veil of ignorance. And we will see nature as nature is. As what? Love and bliss and life, which are human, you see. They belong to the Divine Mother. It is the Divine Mother who is love and life and bliss. She has given birth to. She says, beings all over the world are my children. Now this can be either an insane person speaking or the Divine Mother speaking. There's no halfway house. Yeah, it's not possible for I am the mother of all beings. Yeah, can anybody say this? Even mothers now disown their children. I'm no longer your mother. So this nature is alive. She can be approached. She can be prayed to. She confers grace. And this is the lesson we need to know. This is the real nature of nature. I'll stop here for now. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
So I am interested in how to understand evolution. So we aim for enlightenment like a goal.
Yeah.
And today you also said that evolution is multiplying.
Yes.
The nature of evolution is multiplying.
Yeah.
And somehow to me it seems, how shall I understand it, to reach for
Enlightenment.
yes, for a goal, and at the same time nature tells us to multiply.
Yeah, you already have gone through many experiences. You know what? Sometimes you look at your own life, and you feel there's a kind of a mixture of reality and unreality. You just try to relive your whole life since you were a child and see how you feel. We also have the feeling that we have lived many lifetimes in this one lifetime. Okay. There is something which is kind of stable in us and something which is kind of a changeable entity within us. So that stable entity is that consciousness, which is called the Atman, and the ever-changing, diversified entity also which is kind of complementary in our personality. That is nature. In the Sankhya philosophy, in the very beginning, they not the very beginning, but one of the aphorisms is, what is nature's work for us all? She makes us go through various experiences and then releases us. So, what is the work of nature? Bhoga and apavarga, for the experiences of this, and then for the ultimate release. It is she actually, nature, she is constantly working in order to free us. Yes, that's the goal of consciousness. So you are striving for enlightenment, but all your experiences are pushing you towards this. You, at this stage of life, children are different. I'm not meaning you. We are not so easily fooled by nature anymore. Yeah. We can see through certain things and we can plumb our own depths. And that is what nature wants you to do. She wants you to go towards that essential thing within us. So Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of, in a Sankhya philosophy, it's called Prakriti and Purusha. That is soul and nature. So nature constantly is busy. It's like there's a wedding in somebody's house and the housewife is busy. So and so has come and we are going to do this and that. And the gentleman is sitting and smoking. In the old days we had these hookahs. Now I think we also have hookahs. No? You have hookah bars. No? It's like, yeah, okay. So the soul is, kind of, it's a nature that keeps on working. How does it actually happen? They give an illustration. You have a polished mirror here in front. Then you take a red flower in front of it. The mirror stupidly thinks I'm a red flower. You take a yellow flower, you'll think I'm yellow. Whoever told you that you are a red flower, a yellow flower? You're not. The bondage is not real. It's just by reflection. There is no real yellow flower in the mirror. The soul is by its nature pure and perfect. But it reflects the powers of nature and thinks, I'm a human being, I'm a god, I'm a dog. Yeah, there's nothing, everything is it's a level playing field. So don't worry. I'm so and so, I'm so and so. Why? What made you think like this? This is brought through a kind of an inscrutable power of nature called Maya. It makes the truth false and makes the false true. And we are caught up in that. So when you strive for enlightenment, you are striving for knowledge. Enlightenment is not a journey outside. It is not a journey at all. Enlightenment is you stay where you are. You be what you are. Not that kind of, this is me, I'm this, I'm that. No, your essential nature. So the veil drops off and you will find there you are. You are enlightened. So enlightenment is not a journey, it's not a kind of books, various books speak about, they have to sell their books somehow, kind of throw some spice and some sugar and some salt and kind of make it. So Swami Vivekananda said, if you have to pray for light and knowledge. The Gayatri mantra, which is one of the famous mantras, now has become very popular all over the place, and kind of, that person is praying not to a particular god. He's praying to that entity which is symbolized as a sun in the sky. And that is saying, may that sun like knowledge flash into my intellect. So he is praying for enlightenment. That light which is there is actually yours. It does not belong to anyone else. It is your light, enlightenment. It's your light which is covered, which has to be uncovered. That's all. And how do you do it? Well, you have Raja Yoga and Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga and all these various things. But these are mainly for the purification of the mind. Like the Bible says, be still and know you are God. That is be still and know you are God. So, this is enlightenment. And what happens after enlightenment? There. You get all some weird ideas about enlightenment. And there'll be a flash and fireworks and nothing like that. Nothing will happen. But you, as I've explained, you will see the whole universe within yourself. And yourself in the whole universe. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaneva anupasya. Yes, it's a tremendous, you can say, feeling. No, feeling in the sense that You are in the whole universe, and the whole universe is within you. Right now, we will not be able to stomach this knowledge. Yeah. And don't think it is kind of enlightenment. I can go to a shopping mall and say, I want enlightenment. It's not there. It is more, you've got to prepare yourself. Then, you see Swami Vivekananda also, I think it was the second time when he went to meet Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna was waiting for him for more than 25 years. And not only waiting and weeping, saying, like a kind of hand towel, being wrung out. My heart used to ring like that, painful. For 25 years he endured that pain of anticipation. And when Swami Vivekananda came, he just touched him because he wanted to finish it off quickly. No? What are you doing to me? I've got my father, what are you doing to me? He saw in a twinkling of an eye the whole universe, the doors and the floor and everything in the room, Sri Ramakrishna's room, whirling round and merging into a void, including his own individuality. That's what happened. So you're frightened, kind of thing. So your individuality, like the Buddhists say and like the Vedantists also say, is an illusion. There is no individuality. That's the mistake we do. Once you give up this idea of individuality, you become enlightened. And what remains then? Universality. You are the whole universe. So, if you can, you take up any method, but this is where one needs to arrive. That's why, if you can do it standing on one leg for 12 years, Godspeed. Yes, because each one's path to enlightenment is different. That is what is shown by Buddha when he gave up his teachers and he sat down under the Bodhi tree, Bo tree. He took up his own path. So each one has got a distinctive kind of personality. And one must work through that to the least resistance. Don't do something which someone else is doing. Don't imitate, especially in spiritual life. Don't imitate anybody. That you've got to be creative. Design your own path. Nowhere does Vedanta says, you do this only. Nothing like that. So one must work on the line of least resistance or creatively, but arrive at that point. And you won't be disappointed. So, have I answered the question?
You more than answered it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Swamiji, I have a question about the first part of your talk today, where you talked about the universal mind as the behind the nature.
Yeah.
So in the Mandukya Upanishad classes that Swami Sarvapriyananda took, the universal mind was described there as the Hiranyagarbha, which is in the dream world, or the dream universe. So the question is, how do you connect?
Dream universe. Everything is a dream. You see, like I give an example. You've seen a rabbit and you've seen a deer. Okay? But in the dream world, you mix up both. And you see a rabbit with these antlers. You know in the real world it's not possible to say. But your mind does not bother to ask you, who are you? It doesn't bother. You are a non-entity there. It will do things. It is the repository of all creativity. Yes. Don't think the subconscious mind is kind of dull, dead dream. It's all the creativity is, whether in music and art and whatever. The language which I'm speaking and you're listening, how is it processed? Do you know? How do you learn it? Do you know? That's all the subconscious mind. That subconscious mind has worked to free you. Free you what? Free the conscious mind. Everything is running in our bodies subconsciously. The body is subconscious. Do you know that? Your brain itself is subconscious. Everything is subconscious. It is subconscious because we say we do not know. It is consciousness working without you knowing it. So it is an order of reality. And that's why in Vedanta it's called the Hiranyagarbha. It is likened to to explain that this waking and dream and deep sleep I mentioned. If you say Hiranyagarbha is a dream, what? In the Ramakrishna incarnation, this world, this nature is real. And God also is real, the reality. God is appearing as this. You see, this is the state of Vijnani. And there's a distinct departure. You find in the literature, Sri Ramakrishna's Advaita Guru, Totapuri, he never believed in this external world at all. He was trained that way. So, he grew up with that, he practiced his spiritual discipline. This external world is an appearance, it does not exist. Then what happened? He comes to Sri Ramakrishna, and it took him, every time he wanted to leave, no, you please wait. He never stayed for more than 3 days in one place. But he stayed for 11 months. And he had such terrible colic pain. He wanted to give up his body by immersing it in the river. Those in the state of knowledge, enlightenment, paramahansa, they can do it, not others. Others should not do it. So he went there and he found that river, which is always so full, is not even reaching up to his ankles. He reached halfway through, almost to the other bank. What happened? There's no water also here today to drown me. And suddenly, from his mind, a veil was lifted. And what did he see? He saw the Divine Mother. In the sky, in the trees, in the river, in the water, in the land, everywhere. Saying, Jole Ma, Sthole Ma, all these things. And then he returned. His mind was at peace. His colic pain had left. And then he sang songs of Divine Mother all through. That was a kind of a departure from the old kind of Vedanta that everything is an illusion. this age needs the message of Ramakrishna. It's not an illusion. You see, the Vedanta stands on this one principle. You have a rope and snake illustration. You will never see the rope here and the snake there. You will see both of them together. Whenever you see a snake, there will be a rope. You will never see things separate. If they were separate, then you would call that is an illusion. They are always together. So when you see this world, your insight, your spiritual insight, should be able to intuit the reality which is here, hidden in this. But we don't. So we have to go to another stage called dream stage and deep sleep and all that. You don't need to. Okay? So it is kind of, since we see this world here, this is the Virat, as Maharaj has taught you. That's a cosmic person. And like I said, they studied this external reality according to this, what they studied here. So we have a waking state, we have a gross body, and then we have a deep sleep state. So that also must be some reality. And then we have a deep sleep state. So if these things are happening in me, it must be happening all over. Now, how do you tie this all over with me? You have to bring in something called the Virat and Hiranyagarbha and Ishvara. Don't get fooled by these kind of designations. There is one reality. It's appearing as the many. One is appearing as the many. Okay? How is it possible? Yeah. You've seen that Indrajal, no? Net of Indra, remember that. So, philosophy needs to structure itself like, okay, after this, after this, kind of. But sometimes it kind of binds us, Just keep this in mind. If the mind has become purified, it can see that reality here. It's here and now. Time and space do not exist in that reality, because time and space would limit this thing. Swami Premananda was going up to do his daily worship in the shrine. Swami Vivekananda was sitting under that mango tree, saying, "Where are you going to worship? Here is a Brahman, here." And Swami Premananda and those who were bystanders, they actually experienced Brahman. Swamiji's very words removed of that ignorance there. They never went to, this is Virat, this is Hiranyagarbha, and this. No. This is a Brahman. And then their minds came down a little. And then he said, okay, go and finish your worship. So when Swami Vivekananda also was kind of joking. He used to read the Ashtavakra. Sri Ramakrishna should make him read the Ashtavakra Gita. And I think, these guys are crazy, these sages. Okay. He goes to his friend Hazra. Hazra was a kind of a character. Short, stout, and he used to do his japa almost the whole day sitting down outside Sri Ramakrishna's room. So he was Swami Vivekananda's best friend, but they were friend. So he goes to Hazra, then they prepare the smoke and they're laughing. See, this pot also is Brahman and this also is Brahman. And both of them, they're laughing. Crazy, stupid. And Sri Ramakrishna comes out, what are you doing? And he simply touches Swami Vivekananda. So Swami Vivekananda, being intelligent, he kept quiet. He experienced Brahman there. He saw this world as Brahman. You got this? This you must understand. He never saw this world as distinct as a kind of a horns of a hare or a rabbit. So he experienced it. For 3 days continuously he was in that state, and then his mind came slightly down. And he was walking down the streets, and there's a park called the Hedua Park near his ancestral house. He went to bump his head against the railings to see if they are real iron railings or dream railings. Well, he got a bump, I think. So his mind came a little down, and he seen the world like a dream, not a dream. It is called swapnavat, like a dream. And then slowly, his mind came down there, in the body. Okay? So, yeah, kind of interesting. So realization can be had now, here. You don't need to go to some forest or some cave or this temple or that temple. It is there in your own heart. Plunge inside. All difficult questions.
Thank you, Maharaj. That's a beautiful talk and beautiful explanation. And my question is the role of mysticism and self-realization in Advaita Vedanta, say compared to Buddhism. Thank you.
Yeah, in Advaita Vedanta there is no something as mysticism. We don't believe in mysticism. There is no mystery. This word has become incorporated in literature. What's mysterious about it? When you cannot explain something, it becomes mystic and mystic vision. What mystic vision? What mystery? There is no mysticism. It's a truth. It's a straightforward truth. And there should not be made any mystery about it. This is the idea. Okay? So, you can use it in a kind of a loose term, mysticism. There's nothing mysterious about it. About Advaita Vedanta and Buddhism, there are 4 main schools in Buddhism. And doctrinally, what Shankaracharya did was a brilliant work. He got all these guys together, saying, you decide who's going to argue with me. And they kept on disputing each other, and they broke each other's arguments. Then Shankaracharya steps in and saying, you all are you're out. So, you see what happened? He says, Buddha, when he attained nirvana. What is nirvana? This word is in Vedanta, Brahma Nirvana and all these. Did Buddha cease to exist? Or no? No, obviously no. So they bought another theory called the Alaya Vijnana. It's kind of patchwork. But what really gets extinguished? Nirvana means being extinguished. So what gets extinguished? Your individual existence. So the greater reality is there. It cannot be articulated. And that's why Buddha was quiet about it. Sri Ramakrishna is very clear. He wasn't an atheist. He just couldn't articulate his experience. Because it goes beyond all concepts and categories and all formulations and everything. Yes. So there the mind cannot grasp it. So the mind and speech recoil. That's the reason why, how do you say? So in one of his discourses, Buddha, he was sitting there and all the monks, hundreds of monks, he just lifted a flower. And out of the hundreds and hundreds of monks, only one smiled. He got it. His name was Mahakassapa, from where the Zen school of Buddhism originated. They say that he understood. He just lifted a flower. To us, lifting a flower, rose flower, it's a kind of art. He got it. So these teachers used to teach in various ways. So we must also be able to watch our own minds. So briefly, there is something called a Shanika Vijnanavada. That is the doctrine of momentary consciousness. Consciousness flickers. It flashes, it's off, again flashes. Okay. But because of its constant flashing, it appears as a kind of a solid mass of light flowing past. So as it is flashing, this universe is kind of reflected outside. You can strobe lights, you can see sun appearing and disappearing. So this whole universe is a result of this light which is flashing outside. Then the higher philosophy is called the Shunyavada. Those who believe in everything is a void. Well, they say all that flashing will not do. There's only the void. So there's nothing. So it is not the void in the sense of emptiness. You don't call a black hole empty, do you? No, you don't. It's like they could not define it. And that's the reason why it's a void. Void of all your conceptions and all your preconceptions and all your language. Language is a kind of, it constructs your reality. Your reality is constructed by a language, by a culture, by the education. So this reality is beyond all. That's why it's called a void. So it's a field of, you can say, the reality there. And that is why, like Sri Ramakrishna says, today I'm going to tell you everything. I'm not going to hide anything from you. And he's keeping on that as the mind is going higher and higher and higher. And this is happening, that's happening. And then he's saying, the Divine Mother has shut my mouth. She doesn't want me to tell. There. So, Swami Vivekananda also says, that truth will go along with me. It's not going to be there. So he gave many things, but he took something away, kept something away from us. But he has given us enough. So that is what, so what they say as shunya, a void, or momentary, the Advaitin says Atman. It doesn't matter. You have God with 10 forms, or you have 10 legs, or 50 bellies, and 20 legs. It doesn't matter. Like Sri Ramakrishna says, when you see the Divine Mother Durga from a distance, she's there arrayed with the 10 arms or 12 arms. You go closer, then she appears with the 4 arms. And you go closer, that deity appears as kind of like a babe, like Gopala, Krishna, where all ideas of grandeur and majesty and power are all gone off. Then you are approaching the truth. So long as you are crawling on all your fours give me God, give me this, give me that. I have a headache, please give me a kind of a pill for my headache. I want a job, give me a job. You're saying, the Buddhist says there's something. You're still a beggar when you realize you're a king. That's the idea. So, all ideas of reality also as majestic, luminous, that also will go away. Yes. So, you will see God as God is. I'm using the word God because everyone is used to a reality or truth or whatever. So what happens, like Sri Ramakrishna said, do you grow two horns because of that realization? No, you won't. Do you put a signboard? I'm enlightened. I see in California, I see, I'm enlightened. You're looking at it. So nothing. So what happens then? There is already, like I constantly give this example. Suppose a young child is playing a violin and she plays it so beautifully, all of us will stand and applaud. Why? Because she's a child and she's kind of playing? No. We all recognize a talent within her, a skill within her that transcends that small frame of hers. We acknowledge, we worship that, not that little girl. Maybe she's 5 or 6 or 7 years old, whatever. But we are worshipping some transcendental aspect in that little child. All of us have that. Yes, all of us have a transcendent aspect within us. If you can get hold of it, there you are. You've already transcended your small, limited being. This is my life, useless. Nobody recognizes me, nobody knows me, nobody loves me, nobody wants to do anything with me, everybody runs away from me. What's this? It means we have not come in touch with our own transcendental aspect. So when you become enlightened, this transcendental aspect really becomes transcendental. You will be able to feel the pains and the pleasures and the joys of everyone. So, okay. I keep on saying a little more than what is necessary.
Pranam Maharaj.
We have, I think we can take this question. We're running out of time probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Thank you. My question is regarding manifestation. So, nature has so many things manifested. So, are there any principles or something we learn from nature's manifestation that we could use in our something that we are manifesting? And second part is, how do we know that it's nature that wants something to be manifested to this body-mind complex and it's not mind playing games? Thank you.
Yeah, the mind plays games. But first principle of nature is, nature, she works under laws and she is an outlaw also. That is. Yeah. So, she constantly is creative. That's what is called a creatrix or matrix kind of. If you can, you have it within you. You keep a person quiet and still. That person will not be able to sit down quiet and still for more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. Constantly thoughts are popping up and the guy is restless, he'll look around here. This very fact is saying that don't be boring, diversify. This is meditation, kind of boring thing, sitting down quietly. Diversify. So nature is showing us the way. Kind of be creative, be diverse. Take up a thought, run it through. If it doesn't work out, take another one. Don't be stuck in this kind of one-track mind. So you're doing a particular work. Learn to be creative in that. You'll find great joy. Even like Swami Vivekananda, even a shoe shine, a person who's doing shoe shine, he may have the most boring type of job. Nobody wants that kind of job. Plenty of vacancies are there for that job. Why? Because it's boring. But if that person puts his mind on that work, shoe shine, he will get a tremendous benefit from that work. This is what is karma yoga. This is how nature works. And mind, in this case, it's not deluding you. It is leading you to higher and higher aspects within you. Until and unless you don't get in touch with your own creativity, it's very difficult. Because the brain is conservative. It will want to run in old grooves. You must be able to come out and see things in a different fashion. Think differently. Try the same thing in different ways. Try to see others in a different light. Or see your own self through someone else's eyes. So here you are. You will be constantly engaged. Don't worry. And it's very interesting. Do it. The mind is not kind of deluding you. When you hold on to it, it deludes you when you sit down and daydream. You noticed? Because the default mode of the mind or the brain is to daydream. If you're not doing anything, the mind will daydream, the brain. That is delusion. So that's why put your mind into work and see the difference. So nature works on this principle. Diversify, be creative, and you can see whatever else is there. Learn to look at nature. That's called, you can mimic, and we are learning to mimic nature in engineering and all fields, kind of bioengineering, biomimicry. There is so much that nature has tailored over these millions of years. That amazing. Take an ant also. Study that ant properly. You will feel small if you study that ant. Yeah. Such engineering it has there. And humans are now learning that engineering. New materials, new processes. And so go out and study nature. That will be wonderful. Okay. I think we can stop here now. Thank you.